stored procedure. Okay, what is stored procedure in SQL Server, and why do we need to use stored procedure? And I'll show you some scenarios, right? How you can use the stored procedure. Okay, what is a stored procedure? First of all, this is very common in almost all the RDBMS. It is not specific to SQL Server. It is a pre-compiled collection of SQL statements. Okay, so it is the stored procedure in SQL service, prepared SQL. You can execute it repeatedly by calling the procedure name. Okay, it's something like create once, use it as many times as you want. It's something like what is that? Ready mix. You want to prepare your favorite dish. You don't have to go and buy, order each and every ingredient to prepare the dish. You don't have to, even after ordering it, you have to mix it with the proper ratio, and then only you need to you will be in a position to cook, right? But with ready mix, you don't have to buy each and every ingredient. You don't have to mix everything, the proper ratio, everything, right? Everything is done automatically. You need to buy it, and then you're all set. You need to go and cook it, right? So the same way, once you create a stored procedure, you can reuse it as many times as you want it. Okay, so this is your with the stored procedure you can create reusable components. What scenarios we can create the reusable components? I will give you some examples. See, first of all, what exactly stored procedure is all about? Instead of writing the SQL queries one after the other, right, we combine all the SQL statements in a single stored procedure. We are going to package everything in a single stored procedure so that you can perform a set of batch related tasks to meet some or meet specific functionality. Okay, so the whole the objective of this one is you can call it as many times as you want it once you create it. Okay, but the stored procedure will get stored in your database. This is the thing you need to remember it, and also it is a pre-compiled and pre-optimized piece of code. Hence, every time the SQL server need not to compile your SQL query. Once you package all the queries in your SQL stored procedure, and once you execute it, it is getting pre-compiled and pre-optimized. Each and every time when you call it, it will not get compiled. Okay, you don't have to optimize it each and every time. That is the whole idea of using stored procedure. Here is the syntax for the stored procedure: create procedure, procedure name, and the parameter. Okay, so here the parameter name should be prefixed with @ symbol, and followed by the parameter name you can specify the data type, and followed by the data type you can specify the equal sign and the default values. Okay, and create procedure, procedure name, parameters, and as this is a reserved word, and begin all the caps uppercase letters or reserved word. This is where your body will start. This is where you can write all your business logic. Okay, so now what I will do is I'll just directly jump into SQL server. Look here, here is my SQL SSMS. I just expand the thing here I will just show you retail analytics. So here okay, I just start with a simple example to give you an idea of what exactly this one is all about. Okay, one second, let me just show you this one. It requires a sales table. Okay, one second. Product sales amount region here. Yeah, sales underscore amount, correct. The same table I used it in the stored procedure. Okay. To start with a I'm going to create a simple stored procedure so that you will get a quick sense of what exactly a stored procedure is all about. I start with creating a stored procedure. How to create a stored procedure? Create procedure and then give whatever name you want it. For example, get all employee. This is my stored procedure name. As this is syntax, right? This is the syntax for creating your stored procedure as begin and end. And next one is begin and end here. And within this begin and this is where your body. Here, what I do is select star from, for example, you have something called select star from employee table. That's all. Okay. Here, if I execute this one, look here, a stored procedure got created. Commands completed successfully. Very good. So, okay, creating the stored procedure is not sufficient. You need to use it, isn't it? How do I use this stored procedure? How do I invoke this stored procedure? We have a command called exec. The short form of execute is exec, okay? Usually we use execute and but usually we use exec, but the actual expansion for exec is execute get all emp, okay? Execute this stored procedure. What will, this is a reserved word, this is your stored procedure name. All you have to do is, for example, this is a stored procedure, you created it. And all your team member, you tell them, hey guys, this is a stored procedure that is available. All you need just to be the employee table. You don't have to write select star from employee. Instead, just write, exec followed by this. You need to specify my stored procedure. That's all. If they execute it, look here, the body of this stored procedure gets executed, and then output you can see it here. So once you create it, it will get stored in a database. You need to call it. You need to use this one. So for that, we use a technical term, call the stored. How to call the stored procedure? Exec followed by stored procedure. That's all, right? So all your team members, simply they can execute these two words. They need to select these two words and click on execute. That's all. They don't write select star from employee. Similarly, see in this case, select star from employee. If you have to join more than one table or 3 or 4 tables, 5 tables, and 8 tables, and join everything, left join. Let's first 2 tables you do left join, and the output of that one you use it to create. You perform the right outer join and so on. Okay. You want to perform right outer join and so on. Okay. And then with that output, maybe you may be doing inner join with other set of tables. Very complex logic. You implemented it. So all the end user, they have to do just simply, they don't have to be aware of the complex logic, whatever you have implemented it. Usually we should be, as a developer, you should be able to understand the logic. But there are cases you don't have to understand all the logic. Simply call the stored procedure. Fine, calling the stored procedure is everything is fine, but I don't want to see all the records. I want to see based on some condition. Only I want to see certain rows. How can I do that? So for that, you can use some parameter. How to use parameter? See here in the syntax, add parameter one, right? This is your thing. Yes, Soundarya, learning the SQL service very, very important. See, in the real world scenario, only for namesake, we are using Power BI because we are hitting the source system data warehouse. The volume of data is very huge. Obviously, we are using direct query mode. Direct query mode, you know very well, we cannot do anything, right? Literally, we do very minimal transaction we do. That is not going to be helpful. Hence, implement all your complex logic in your in your SQL server itself. Usually, we use the stored procedure or the stored function to implement all the complex logics. Okay. So, okay, all numbers. For example, I'm going to create another stored procedure. And here, what is the syntax for parameter? Add parameters. So the parameters are helpful to make your code more dynamic. Num1 and int, comma, at num2 int data type and as begin end. So here I just say, select at num1 plus at num2. as sum of numbers. That's all. So why do I need to use the stored procedure here? Sorry, the parameter here. You can give whatever the name that you wanted. If you say 5, 10 here, when you execute the stored procedure, only 5, 10 will get, only that value will be used. Instead, use some generic name. Okay, num1, num2, that's a parameter. Now my stored procedure got created. Okay, how do I execute the stored procedure this time? Same thing, execute, and then your stored procedure name. Followed by that, you need to specify the stored procedure name. Okay, and followed by this. In this case, since we are using parameter, if you simply execute the stored procedure, it will not work. It will throw an error. You need to pass some values to these parameters. Okay, you see here, all my expects parameter at num1 which was not supplied. You need to send some values. For example, 10 comma 10 comma 20. In this case, what will happen? This 10 will get copied to at num1, 20 will get copied to at num2. So here the 10 plus 20 is 30. Okay, that is what. So here you need to give in the proper. This 10 will get copied to the first parameter. This 20, the second one will get copied to the at num2. That's all. So now you understood with this simple example how to create a stored procedure and what is the advantage of stored procedure. Create once and you can execute it as many times as you can use it as many times as you want it. And similarly here, in this case, how to define a parameter and then what is the advantage of parameter. See here 10 comma 20. Later time, if you want to pass 100 comma 200 or 500 comma 1 lakh or 100 lakh, whatever value you wanted, you can pass it. That value will get copied to this one and then it does the the addition, right? So in this case, when we use at num1 and at num2, this is the parameter name. The purpose of this parameter, we can make our stored procedure very dynamic. You can pass whatever value you wanted. Okay, but you can pass only two values because you are using only two parameter at num1 and at num2. Hence, you need to pass only two values for this parameter. If you specify single value also, it will not work. It will throw an error. Okay. And if you are using two parameter, make sure that you are passing in values for two parameters. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay, your question is how do I, show me the parameter with this one, right? Okay, okay. I will show you that one also. Don't worry. The same thing, I just copy paste it. For example, create procedure, get employee, get all employee name only. Okay. Get all emp name. In this case, I just want to use at emp underscore id integer. Okay, so parameter. This time I'm using a parameter here. And here, let me do one thing. What values are there? Higher date, salary, commission, everything. Okay, here we don't have that one. Okay. So here I'm going to use where emp id emp id what is that emp number, where emp number is equivalent to at emp id. So if you give like this, and here this is how you can pass the value. This is how you can execute the stored procedure. Here, for example, these are the existing things. For example, you want to give only the specific employee related data. 7782. Select star from employee. Okay, all the columns. Okay, I'm going to create the stored procedure. Yes, stored procedure got created. Get all emp name and followed by that the employee ID 7782. I have given it and execute. Look here. If you want to view only the specific record, you can use this one, right? Again, you can use employee number equal to at emp ID. You can use more than one parameter. For example, you want to check salaries. Those employees are getting salaries greater than something. In that case, you don't have to use employee ID. Use the emp underscore. So some name for the parameter you can give it. And that parameter, if you pass where salary is greater than this salary. So in that case, if you specify here, whatever the salary that you specified here, so beyond more than that one will get displayed. Those employees are getting salary greater than this value, it will display. In this case, instead of salary, I've used employee ID. Understood, right? This is how we can dynamically query your stored procedure. Sorry, you can dynamically query your employee table. Okay. Next one is I will give you another commonly used scenario. For example, we have a sales table and we want to understand how to use so the common one is, for example, you want to find out the 5-number summary. Let me just check. Yeah, select star from sales. Here we don't have order date column. Okay. Total sales. Okay. For example, I'm going to use this stored procedure. This is my sales table. We want to display the 5-number summary, like minimum sale, maximum sale, average sales, or let's take only these 4 values. In this case, we don't need this one, and because we don't have that column. And here, yeah, sales amount, and these are the things. Okay, and here I'm going to use something like yeah, return the sales amount. Okay, here what it does, it computes the sum, total sales amount, average sales amount. And similarly, you can find out here the where condition is not required, because if you want, where condition, you have to use where condition. For the sake of demonstration, I'm going to remove, because we don't have the order date, start date and all, it is not there. And hence I'm going to remove it. And minimum, maximum, right, all the things. Here I have used this one. I'm going to remove this one because we don't have the date and all. And here I'm going to use this one. I execute this one. Yes, the store procedure got executed. And here what I do is get sales summary. Here all you need to do is, if you give this one to someone else, they can see the total sales, average sales, max sales, min sales. They don't have to run these queries, right? All the queries you put it in this begin end. And why do I need to use declare here? Yes, in this case, and each query, if you see here, the total sales, sum of sales amount, you are getting stored in a variable called total sales, right? And average sales, to store the average of the sales amount, we have aggregation function average, that you store in the same way, minimum, maximum, we are doing it. And finally, we are combining all the parameter values. Then we are giving meaningful column name. And then we are creating the stored procedure. We are done it. Execute. Finally, once you create this one, this many lines of code is there. Now what you do is you tell your team members, say, guys, I have created a stored procedure, reusable component. You don't have to count the minimum, maximum, average sales, total sales. All you need to do is just execute my storage procedure. It will give you these 5 different minimum, maximum, average, totals, everything it will be give. It will give. Okay. Got it? So this is what the situation we use the stored procedure. Apart from this, for example, you want to compute the net salary. Okay, you want to compute the net salary. Same logic. Here procedure name and procedure name, and here I declare 2 parameters. Declare the parameter name can be anything, but it should be prefixed with @ symbol. Followed by that, you can specify the data type. And in this case, I have used the output. So in the case of stored procedure, you can give input parameter. So far, we discussed about the parameter wherever, right? It is all the input parameter. So in this case, there are no parameters we used it. Whereas in this case, I've used the parameter, right? And here, the followed by the parameter means to specify the data type. This is called your input parameter. This is called your output parameter. The output parameter also the same way how you define the input parameter, but at the end of it, you need to specify output. Okay. Now what we do is we want to output the net salary. We want to compute the net salary, and then we do. So we know. So again, inside the body, we can declare the variable. At tax rate, all the things we create it here. But the declare followed by whatever is that is called your variable. Okay, this is called your parameter. This is called your variable. And here, if the gross salary is less than 50,000, and here, right, whatever the value you pass it. For example, if you pass this 1 lakh rupees as a gross salary, or let's say if you pass the gross salary is 48,000, the condition will come here. Okay, if the salary is 1 lakh or less than 1 lakh, point to tax will get deducted 20%, right? The rest of them 0.30. Those people get more than 10 lakh, they fall in this bucket, the tax rate. That's all, guys. I just execute the stored procedure. The procedure got executed without any error. And if any error comes, how do I troubleshoot? Google. Check with Google. It's that much simple. Okay. Use your common sense, read the error, and make sure that you do not make any typo. It's a case sensitive. For example, you have declared the net capital N and capital S for the net salary. And if you use all capital letter here or all small letter, then the capital letter and small letter is different. Okay. And how do I call the stored procedure? In this case, here, since I'm using the net salary as an output, we need to, before call the stored procedure, we need to create a a variable and using declare. Okay, how do you define a variable in SQL Server? They'll ask in the interview. Declare followed by the variable, and followed by that you need to specify the data type. In this case, is decimal. And here I'm just calling the stored procedure execute calculate salary, net salary, and followed by that for these two parameters. Look here, the parameter name I specified it explicitly. Followed by that I have given 50,000. Okay, and followed by net salary is equivalent to this net salary, right? So this net salary on the left side, whatever you have is nothing but this net salary is equivalent to the net salary returned by the stored procedure. See here, the net salary, final net salary, it is computed here. That net salary will get assigned here as an output. And finally, when you select the at net salary, that value will get displayed. Okay, this is a little bit different. Okay. You can even watch my pre-recorded video. So I've discussed more detail, like how I discussed now. Okay, but that is more detailed one. Got it? So in stored procedure, you can use input parameter as well as output parameter. The stored procedure can, with stored procedure, you can return more than one parameter value also as an output. Okay. Whereas in the case of stored function, we have something else called the stored function. The same thing using stored function also we can do it. Instead of using procedure, you need to specify function. That's all, guys. Okay. And then there's slight syntax difference is there. If you see here, you need to use the return variable. The function has to return a variable. Not necessarily always. Okay. But the whole idea of function is you have to return a value. Okay. And here, return the data type. Okay. You need to specify this explicitly. So these are reserved word. Okay. Returns, all the uppercase are reserved word. And this is my own variable. Okay. This parameter. Okay. And declare text rate, everything. The rest are all same, the logic, same as my stored procedure. Instead of using stored procedure, you can create the stored function also. But remember that the stored function, so this is a stored function because it gets stored in your, it is already there. I just use some other name, and I'll look here. The stored procedure function got executed, and then how do I call the stored function here? You need to call this function. Okay, calculate net salary one. Select select calculate salary one at net at gross salary, right? Yeah, you need to pass the gross salary here. Yes, gross salary. Simply you can copy it and paste it so that you can avoid the typo and all. Okay, I just remove this. Gross salary is equivalent to, let's say you are getting 1 lakh rupees. So 1 lakh, the condition will come here, right? It will multiply the 1 lakh by 0.2, and then it will subtract this one from your gross salary, right? 20% of tax amount will get deducted from your gross salary. Okay, if I execute this one, incorrect syntax near at gross salary equal to, okay, here in this case you need to specify like this. Okay, it's not a recognized built-in function in calculate. 1 second, have I created this stored by? Yes, I created it, right? 1 second, let me just check. Yeah, this is already is there, no error, nothing. And 1 second, here we calculate one. Only thing is you should know how to, the syntax is little bit different here. So you can use a select query to execute a call a, stored function. Okay. So here you can use select statement to call a stored function. Okay, here the problem is, yeah, you can specify it directly here, or else what we'll do is, yeah, declare. We can use declare at gross salary. Instead of giving it as a 1 lakh directly, here you can give it like this. Okay, and here you can specify simply the gross salary. Okay, simply you can select it and it should work. And here you need to specify whether it is integer or let's say integer or decimal. Okay, decimal, let's say 18 comma 2 or something like that. Okay. Yeah, so here you need to prefix with some DBO. Okay, database object owner. Okay, that's all. That's the only thing. Otherwise, it will get it. Look here, it got executed. Only thing is just before the stored procedure name, sorry, stored function name, you need to use DBO. That's all. So the way how to call the stored procedure is somewhat similar to these, calling the stored function. Okay, but here we can use a select statement. Using the select statement, you can specify, followed by selection, you can specify the stored procedure name, and inside this you can specify the parameter name, but the parameter name already declared is 10,000. So, okay, your question is, can't I give directly 1 lakh? Yeah, this is 10,000. 1 second. Is this what your doubt? Yeah. So, yeah, the previously it was showing error because I did not prefix it. You can directly specify it like this, 1 lakh, instead of defining a variable and all, right? This step is not required, but still, that is the formal way that we use it. Okay, this is the proper way we use it. But make sure that your stored procedure name, stored function name is prefixed with DBO in the case of stored function. Otherwise, it is seen. Okay. Yes, I will share the script. That's the reason why I'm just putting it everything here. Okay, don't worry. And now we have understood what is stored procedure and what is stored function. What is the difference between these two, stored procedure and stored function? In the interview, they will ask you, what is the difference between which one should I use it? It depends on the situation. Okay. In the both the cases, stored procedure or stored function, both of them get stored in your database. There is no doubt. Okay. If you want to perform any actions, data manipulation, complex business logic, that time you can use stored procedure. And also in the case of stored function, right? If you want to calculate and return a single value based on some input parameter. In the previous case, we have seen it. The single parameter was gross salary, right? So if you want to return the output for, if you want to return a single value in that kind of stored function can return only one value. If you see here, the return statement should be there in your stored function. Okay. And what other difference? Using exec command, we can execute the stored procedure, whereas the functions, you can reference it within your SQL queries. Okay, that is what we did it, right? I select the stored procedure name. That is what it did. And you can use the stored procedure, you can call the stored procedure independently from other stored procedures. Can I call a stored procedure from another stored procedure? Yes, that is possible. Triggers, you can call a stored procedure from other stored procedure. Triggers and other application could also you can call it. Whereas in the case of stored function, they can be used in column values like here. So in this case, the column values, right? The select followed by the column values. Instead of column name, I just specified the stored function name. Inside this, I specified the parameter name. That's all. And you like stored procedure, you can like a stored procedure. You can call a stored procedure inside another stored procedure, and you can call a stored procedure from a trigger. Same way, you can do it for the stored function also. You can make the stored function as part of other function, or also you can use the stored function as part of your stored procedure itself. And triggers also you can use the stored function. These are the difference as exists between the stored procedure and stored function. So this wraps up